Rudram during satsang. We'll see. Explanation, not chanting. We'll see. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can come here, come. Please come. Place is there. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane Savilasa Maha Moha Graha Grasaika Karmane Tatpadambu Ruhadvandva Seva Nirmala Chetasam Sukhabodhaya Tatvasya Vivekoyam Vidhiyate. So, yesterday we saw the sadhanas leading to the resolution of Jiva Jagat Ishvara, or these various iterations of Maya, individual, Jagat and Ishvara, the three iterations. We saw how we can do that through sadhana, first by Ishvarizing the Jagat. So, Jagat Ishvara become how many? One or two? One. And then Jiva, the Jiva, and then the Jiva is separate, and the Jiva is resolved into Ishvara through the cultivation of Bhakti. And that, this effort, this sadhana makes one ready for the teaching of Vedanta and assimilation of this vision. We saw that earlier also in the previous class. And so, what did we see there? We saw that the most important thing is the cultivation of trust. And the same trust that has been repeatedly eroded, one has to dare to trust again. Because what will you lose as a result of this trust? Self-ignorance. That's the only thing to lose. And the whole world is there to gain as the truth of oneself. So, therefore, since the pramana is not operated by me, I have to give the benefit of doubt to the pramana. I cannot say the pramana doesn't work if I am not receptive to it. Like the lady or the person, like the patient who refused to open the eyes even after the successful surgery for the fear that one will not be able to see. So here also knowledge is instantaneous if there is the correct pramana and the correct way of handling it, and the recipient is there, knowledge has to take place. You cannot not do this. So like for example, if your eyes are open and I am showing you this flower, you can't not see the flower. The eyes are open, there is something to see, it's in the direct line of vision, and you can't not see the flower. And supposing I hold the flower along with the glasses case and I say, please don't see the glasses case, see only the flower, then also you cannot oblige because it is there in the line of vision. So pramana and pramana works like that. In the presence of prameya, the pramana has to take place. So in the presence of the prameya means that which is to be known. And so too in Vedanta Shastra, when one is exposed to this pramana, which comes from outside, which is why there is suspicion, because I am not operating the pramana. How come I am not operating this means of knowledge? You cannot operate this means of knowledge. Why? Because you don't know how. There is kartra karma virodha. You can't operate it because the very operation of this pramana will vitiate the pramana. It will become dushta pramana, naughty pramana it will become. And because it will not deliver. Why? Because that's the same reason why you cannot read the Upanishads. What will happen if you read the Upanishad? migraine will come. That's all. Yeah. If you want to read the Upanishad, keep one, what is that called? Keep one crocin by the side, keep one aspirin, and then start reading. This is what will happen. And so, because it is supposed to be handled, it is made alive and handled through the same prakriyas as was given by the various, as was imbibed by the teacher, by the other teacher, who got it from the other teacher, their teacher, and so on. So therefore, because there is something to see, and because I have to be led to see it, because that which is to be seen is what? Myself alone. I have to see this. And what kind of a myself? A myself full of wrong notions about who? Myself. And so that has to be, this darshan of the Atma has to take place by repelling all the wrong notions, removing all the wrong notions, and showing that which is invariable as yourself. And so therefore, Shraddha until the knowledge takes place. Knowledge takes place means what? Until I see the truth of myself. Till then the Shraddha has to be maintained. The proof of the pramana is in the knowledge. Supposing the knowledge doesn't take place, it will never happen. That will not happen at all. That's why when Lord Krishna is questioned at various points in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, when will this happen? Na chirat, not too long hence. Or achirat, very soon. Timeline cannot be given, because the extent to which I have Shraddha is the extent to which I will see. That is the extent to which I have clarity. Shraddha and clarity go together. Shraddha and the gain of knowledge go together. Out of all the qualifications, Shraddha is highlighted. This reverence for the knowledge, the reverence for the teacher and the teaching, the devotion for the knowledge is highlighted, because in its presence the knowledge has to take place. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. 4th chapter will say that. And so, that concludes the Mahavakya discussion, except there are 2 more verses which are the concluding verses. Let us see. Soyam ityadi vakyeshu virodhat tadidantayoho. Yeah, there is a mistake here. Idantayoho, okay, not tvayoho. Soyam ityadi vakyeshu virodhat tadidantayoho tyagena bhagayorekah ashrayo lakshyate yatha soyamityadi vakyeshu virodhat tadidantayoho tyagena bhagayorekah ashrayo lakshyate yatha. Soyam is a vakya. Oh, is there a spelling mistake? Should it be soham? No, it is soyam here. Why is it soyam? We will find out very quickly. So, through sentences such as, in these sentences, such as what? Soyam, etc. Something else is all. Prakrishta prakashaha chandraha. Like these many sentences are there. Saha ayam, soyam, etc. Through these sentences, in these sentences, even though there is virodha. Virodha between what? Tat and idam. Tat and idam. So tat means what? Far away. That which is remote. Idam means prakrishtam, which is right here. So idantayaha, idantayoho. So between tat and idam, the virodha is resolved. How? Tyagena, by giving up the specifics, and bhagayoho. So, tyaga bhagayoho. What is tyaga bhagayoho? What is that? Very good. Bhagatyaga lakshanaya. So, bhagatyagayoho, then through the operation of this lakshana, what do we get? Ekaha ashrayaha. You get one place of, one adhisthana, one place where both these, what is that called? Oppositional attributes or variables reside. Reside means are sourced. You get this one truth, one ashraya, you get an ashraya. It's not really an ashraya, it's just being called ashraya, it's not exactly an ashraya. So you get one place where both these warring factions or oppositional variables are sourced, and that source is free of all oppositions. That is the idea. This will become clear when it's illustrated. This is the classic Shastric example. 3 friends. So if you want 3 names in Sanskrit, what do? First one is called Devadatta. Second one is called Somadatta. Third one is called Yajnadatta. 3 Dattas are the greatest of friends. They grow up together, they go to school together, they are inseparable. They even go to the next place, some other town, to go to college. There also they share a room and they are all together. And then Somu and Yajna go back to their hometown. Somehow Deva drops out. Nobody has heard from him. He suddenly seemed to have disappeared. Nowhere is he to be found. Somu and Yajna go back to their native place, get married, have children. Children now are what? Teenagers. And then a Swami rolls into town. All right. And then what? Of course, if you are married and you have teenage children, definitely you want to go see a Swami. Yes, definitely. No other option. Because by the time, half the hair is grey and the other half is lost. The hair is itself lost, okay? And whatever is remaining is grey. And so therefore, these two, who are these two? Somu and Yajna, along with their spouses, go to listen to the Swami. So then they enjoy the lecture, but Somu, who was much more friends with the missing Devadatta, somehow feels this Swami is very familiar. Is it a past life connection? Ooh, should we do a regress, past life regression? What should we do here? He can't shake it off. Somehow, something is so familiar about this new Swami who has come into town, but he says, okay, maybe, something. They stand in the prasad line. Yajna says, no, let's go Somu, let's not stand in the prasad line because then we will get into traffic jam. Somu says, no, I want to see the Swami little close. I'm not interested in prasada, I want to see him little closely. All right. They stand in the prasada line, and then as he is approaching Swami, what does he see? He sees his long lost friend. And the long lost friend is seen through the matted hair, the orange clothes, and the flowing beard. And then by the time he comes to receive the prasad, he is very clear. This is definitely, this was this Swami, and he is very excited. Hey Yajna, look, who is this Swami? I don't know, some Swami. And don't call him like that, it's disrespectful. Who is this Swami? Why are you talking like this? He's a Swami, we just have come to meet him. No. This Swami is that Devadatta, who was the prankster, who was always skipping the classes, yet he was so brainy that his grades were never affected. He was the Devadatta who would help anybody who needed help. That Devadatta is this Swami. This is our everyday experience. So what did the Swami say? Shh, don't out me in public, I have a new life now. So, Swamis, the past of the Swamis has been burnt, dead and gone. That is why we don't refer to that. Because we want the Swamis, and the Swami also wants himself or herself to live in the present. So the past does not matter. The past has been made into a repast. Yes. So therefore, what is important here is the line that Devadatta is this Swami. This Devadatta. That Devadatta is indeed this Devadatta who is now what? A Swami. So that is what means idam and tat. Tat, that which was, whose grahanam was done as tat. Grahanam means whose understanding. The grasping of the Devadatta, just before they met the Swami, how would they talk about Devadatta? That Devadatta. What is the meaning of that Devadatta? Tat desha, tat kala, vishishta Devadatta. A Devadatta qualified by that time and that place. And what happened to that Devadatta? Nobody knows, because that is what it is. Why do you say that otherwise? If you knew what happened to him, you would say this Devadatta, because obviously you know what happened to him. But you don't know what happened to him. He dropped out, went to Rishikesh, and once you go to Rishikesh, you are a changed person, correct? Yeah, so then the rest of it, then every step of the way there are ashrams, and then some ashram he entered, and then got the knowledge, got ordained as a Swami. And now what? Tat desha kala vishishta Devadatta. Vishishta means qualified by, endowed with. The Devadatta of that time, the Devadatta of that place is the Devadatta of this time and this place. So what is that and this? That is variable or invariable? Variable. Is this variable or invariable? Variable. Because that is the product of time and space. That time and space endowed Devadatta versus this time and space qualified Devadatta, and all the things connected to that time and place itself is variable, and all the qualities, the attributes of that Devadatta connected to that time and that place are also what? Variable. Prankster. Now he is not playing a prank, he is teaching Vedanta. So no longer prankster. And at that time what? Used to like, let's say, we can just make stuff up because this Devadatta is imaginary. So Devadatta loved to write poetry. Now he is not writing poetry. He is teaching Vedanta. And then that Devadatta used to love lot of friends and had a big circle of friends. This Devadatta happy with himself, contented with himself, by himself. What is that? Atmani, Atmana, Tushtaha. Contented with oneself. And that Devadatta was what? A foodie. Loved going to various restaurants. One day here, one day there, one day Mexican, one day Italian, one day Vietnamese, one day Indian. Indian means what? There is South Indian, North Indian, East Indian, West Indian, lots of things are there. And everything in between. So there was no restaurant that had not been visited by that Devadatta. This Devadatta happy, yadricha labha santushta, santushto yena kenachit. That Devadatta came from a rich family, had a huge house. This Devadatta now in this new avatara, what is this? Agehananda is his name. No house Ananda. So, no house. Why? Sannyasi. No house and no parents, no sister, no brother, no spouse, no child, nothing. Still contented. So, you see, what are the accoutrements that made that Devadatta have nothing to do with this Devadatta here who is now Swami so and so Ananda. No, totally unconnected. But then in the recognition for both of his friends, Somu and Yajna, what did they say quickly? That Devadatta is this Swami. This is our friend. You see, when they reclaimed him as their friend, their dear and beloved friend that they had not seen for 25 years, they reclaimed him. And so that means what did they do? They did Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Unknowingly they have done Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Here we beat our heads how to do Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Now it turns out that we are doing Bhagatyaga Lakshana when all the time we are doing that. In this recognition, they have deployed a Vedanta Prakriya. How have they done Bhagatyaga Lakshana? They retained Devadatta. Not the name, and because the name has changed, form also has changed. That time Grihastha or whatever Brahmachari, now what? Swami. So name and form has also changed. And then occupation has changed. Likes and dislikes have changed. And the whole thing has changed. What has not changed? The person has not changed. The persona has changed. Now has a Swami persona. Before had a Devadatta personality. The personality is a superimposition, a variable superimposition upon the person Purusha who is free of all superimpositions. So the Purusha has not changed. And then who is the Purusha? The person. Person has not changed. Purusha here Pan. Purusha is also word used for Atma. Purusha hasn't changed. And all the things around the Purusha, the personality keeps on changing. What was the personality of the previous Devadatta? Fun-loving, food-loving, prankster, extrovert. And now what? None of those apply. Now the person is just loving, that's all. Forget fun-loving, food-loving, there is no reason to love. The person is all love now. And so therefore, this Bhagatyaga Lakshana has been done by the friends, even though they don't know this Prakriya, this methodology of Vedanta. Unknowingly it has been done in the recognition that this person is the same as that person. What has changed? Personality has changed, persona has changed, dress has changed, name has changed, form has changed, but that which inhabits the name and form, that which inhabits the dress then and now is one and the same. Saha Devadattaha, that Devadattaha, Ayam Devadattaha, this Devadatta. So Desha gone, Kala gone, Ragadvesha gone, personality gone. What is retained is just the Purusha. And so this is what Bhagatyaga Lakshanaya. This is done all the time. Because why is this verse given? To show first of all that this Bhagatyaga Lakshana, we are not strangers to this. Even in the everyday life, we are using this particular methodology when? All the time. We are using this methodology to show that it is given. And the second reason it is given is to see that this Akhandam Satchidanandam Mahavakyena Lakshyate. So to show that this Lakshana is is the very important way of knowing Brahman, to show that. So what is gone in the Lakshana to know Brahman? All the three iterations of Maya as Jagat, as Jiva, as Ishvara are gone. What is retained? Akhanda. Akhanda means Nirantara, that which is does not have a gap at all. Unbroken Satchidananda is Maya in the form of Ishvara. Unbroken Satchidananda is Jiva in the form of Avidya, Maya in the form of Avidya as expressed as Jiva, and then unbroken Satchidananda is indeed the Jagat with all the tamas of Maya expressing itself as the raw materials of the Jagat. All three are resolved, all three are given up. Why? Because Paraspara Virodhat, because of mutual, what is Virodha? Contradictions, opposition. Mutual opposition, because Jiva and Ishvara mutually opposed. Jagat Ishvara again opposed. How can Jagat be, how was this Jagat made? All these questions come. Jiva and Jagat again separate. And so all these separations are resolved by understanding that all of them have Ashraya where? They are all Brahmashraya. They are not Mayashraya, they are Brahmashraya. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are all resolved because they are Brahmashraya. But how can Jiva be Brahmashraya? Where else? What else is there? Is there anything other than Brahman? No. Jiva is also Brahmashraya. But Jiva is Agnya. So is Ajnanam also Brahmashraya? You bet. Ajnanam has to be Brahmashraya. Yes. Why? Because what else is there where something can take Ashraya? Tell me. Is there anything other than Brahman? Tell me that. No. No, but how can Brahman, Avidya, how can Avidya take refuge in Brahman? That's where it will take refuge. Where else will it take refuge? That's where it will take refuge. No, but Brahman is all knowledge. Yes. All knowledge that is unopposed to ignorance. So when you say, I am ignorant, you are still all knowledge. Why? Because when you say, I don't know, what are you really saying? I know that I don't know. And that I know is an ontological I know, which never turns into I don't know. So you are knowledgeable of what you know, you are knowledgeable of your ignorance also. So there is not really any ignorance other than mithya bhuta avidya. Everything is mithya. Jivatvam is mithya, Ishvaratvam is mithya, Jagat is mithya. All of them take ashraya where? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahmani. All of them have ashraya. They all are there. Why? Because just like the dream resorts to the dreamer, is non-separate from the dreamer, all these so-called divisions have to take ashraya in Brahman also. Only, not also. Only in Brahman, all these Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara have their being in Brahman alone. And what kind of a being is it? Mithya bhuta astitvam. Its being is a dependent reality. Therefore, avidya is dependent upon what? Brahman alone, and as though reality. This is contested, by the Bhamatikaras. Bhamati was the name of the Vartika written on Brahma Sutra by one very erudite person, Vachaspati Mishra. So Vachaspati Mishra named it Bhamati because of the selfless service of his wife and her contribution in writing this work. He didn't even, God only knows how he got married. Such people should not get married, really. But somehow he got married, and whole life from morning to night he wrote. And then again he would write, did not look up at all until the work was finished. Then it was many years later, and he saw one grey-haired lady standing in front of him. he was startled. He said, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Who are you?" She said, "I am your wife, Bhamati." "I have a wife?" "Yes." And in fact, not only do you have a wife, she has been cooking, cleaning and taking care of you for all these decades. That's what I have been doing. And he feels terrible. He feels so terrible. For two reasons he feels terrible. One reason for neglecting her for so many decades, he feels awful. And the other reason he feels awful is because he had made a sankalpa that after finishing this work, he will go take sannyasa. That is another reason he feels terrible. So then, as a compensation, and we are not going to discuss if it's an adequate compensation or not. As a compensation, he names the work after her, Bhamati. So, this is the story of Bhamati. So now a very brilliant, treatise on the Brahma Sutra, but it has some very glaring mistakes. How can you be so brilliant and also make some mistake? Some very bad mistakes. Two particular mistakes. One is that he considers Anandamaya Kosha as Anandam Brahma. Very wrong. Okay. But then the Brahma Sutra, and some of these pages, the works are missing. So, but you see, Adi Shankara, he precedes Adi Shankara. So, Adi Shankara is either he is a contemporary or he precedes him, because Adi Shankara references Vachaspati Mishra by name and references the work. That's how we know that it is there. And the fact that Adi Shankara thinks him worthy to quote and to cite means it's a respectable work, except for some very glaring errors. One error I have already pointed out, Anandamaya, which is a place where the Bhokta is taken to be the Atma, the place of mistake. He sees it as Brahman alone, and so that is one mistake. And the second mistake is saying that Avidya is Jivashraya. Avidya, he says, how can it belong to Brahman? It must be belonging to the Jiva. So, the Jiva is so then we ask the question, is the Jiva Avidya all the time? Is Avidya intrinsic to you as Jiva? No. Why? Because it can be dropped. Therefore, it cannot be intrinsic. So, and also it cannot be intrinsic, because when you say, I don't know Brahma Vidya, what are you saying? I know, I don't know. And so for these reasons, we don't subscribe to the Bhamati school of thought. And there are other problems also, but these are the two relevant ones right now, because we have studied about them. I can refer to them. So then this Jiva Jagat Ishvara is resolved, and what is the differences are resolved, because the differences are mithya and the entities themselves are mithya, because all of them derive their existence from who? Brahman alone. So what is left in this analysis, Bhaga Tyaga analysis, the invariable is retained, the invariable is Brahman, and then what else is left out? The variable is disregarded. Disregarding the variables, because the variables keep varying. So what's the point in accounting for them? Disregarding the variables and catching hold of the invariable is what is done. Okay. And so then soyam ityadi vakyeshu virodha tad idantayoho tyagena bhagayoho ekaha ashrayah lakshyate. One ashraya is pointed to. Ashrayah iva ashrayah. Ashraya, don't think that Brahman is the locator, is the place where everything is put, like a big box in which all the lost and found items are put. No. Lost and found jivas are put. No. That is not the idea. Ashrayah iva, as though ashraya. The verse concludes this. Okay. Maya vidye vihayaivam upadhi parajivayoho Akhandam Satchidanandam Param Brahmaiva Lakshyate Maya Vidye Vihayaivam Upadhi Parajivayoho Akhandam Satchidanandam Param Brahmaiva Lakshyate. So, in the same manner, evam. Evam means in the same manner. What is the same manner? Just like Devadatta was resolved. Devadatta and the Swami were resolved in one locus. Who is this person? Who transcends the personality in the same manner. Maya Vidye Vihaya. Vihaya means what? Yeah, having given up. Ha, to give up. Don't think it is fourth case. Ramaya, Vihaya. No. Okay. So Vihaya, having given up. Lyap. Okay. Having given up. Having given up, V means completely. Having given up completely. What? Having given up what? Ishvara, Maya. The first Maya stands for Ishvara. Mayavi. The one who is the magician of this universe, the author of this universe, that status, having given up that. You don't give up Ishvara. What do you give up? Ishvara-hood you give up. So, because Ishvara is you, how can you give up that which is you? Ishvara-ness, Ishvara-hood. So here the person called by the name Devadatta and Swami is not given up. And then what is given up? Devadatta-ness is given up. Swami-hood is given up in the example. And so to here, Maya and Maya cha, Avidya cha, Maya Vidye. Dual. So Maya Vidye. So this is a Dvandva. So then Dvandva Samasa, Maya cha, Avidya cha. Maya and Avidya together, Maya Vidye. Like Mata cha, Pita cha, Pitarau. Yeah. That is different here. It's slightly different. Same idea. Maya Vidye. Maya and Vidya, both Avidya, both are given up. Both are given up. And then how? Maya means who? Ishvara. Avidya means who? Yours truly, Jiva. Okay. And then Avidya is given up. Maya, Ishvara is given up. Avidya means Jiva and Ishvara. Jivatvam and Ishvara-ness. Ishvara-hood and Jiva-ness. Jiva-hood are both given up. Why are they given up? Because they are variable. And in the operation of the Bhagatyaga Lakshana, they don't have a place. They don't at all have a place there. That's why both of them are what? Discarded. Vihaya means discarding Maya and Avidya. Vihaya. Which are what? What are these Maya and Avidya? Upadhi. What is Upadhi? Dual. Dual. First case or second case? Second case. Two in your language. Okay? Yeah. So, Upadhi. Like Harihi, Hari. So, Upadhihi, Upadhi. Why is it in dual? Two upadhis are there, Maya and Avidya Upadhi. So these two upadhis, evam, in this manner, vihaya, having given up. And who are these upadhis belonging to? Para. Who is para? Ishvara. Ishvara Jivayoho. Why didn't he say Ishvara Jivayoho? He ran out of meter. So, therefore, he had only two syllables. So, he changed it, Ishvara, to simply Para. So, Maya, Avidya are the Upadhi for, respectively, we have to say, for Ishvara and Jiva. Ishvara is called Ishvara because of the all-knowing Maya Upadhi. Jiva is called Jiva because of the not knowing Upadhi, Avidya. Oh, not knowing is also an upadhi, apparently. Yes. Not knowing becomes the upadhi, for which is called jiva. So, having in this manner, just like you did with soyam devadattaha, so anything, why devadatta, soyam subbuhu, whatever it is. And so, soyam devadattaha, what did you do? You retained that which matters, and then which is the locus of all the things that are variable, you retained. This is how Bhagatyaga Lakshana works. You retain the so-called locus of all the variable attributes, and the variable attributes are discarded and only the locus remains. Here too, the attributes in the form of upadhis are discarded. What is Ishvara's upadhi? All knowledge. So that all knowledge status, sarva vetritvam, all that is sarvajnatvam, sarva vetritvam. And then what is that? All strength and all vairagya, all jnanam, all these things are discarded. The 6 bhagas are discarded. And then on the jiva's side, what is discarded? Avidya is discarded. Complaints are discarded. I am an idiot. That feeling is discarded. All that is variable is discarded. Having done that, what happens? Akhandam Satchidanandam. This Satchidananda alone is there. And what is that Akhandam Satchidanandam? Param Brahma. This Param Brahma in the form of undivided Sat Chit Ananda alone is remaining, alone is left, nothing else is remaining. And so all the upadhis have been resolved by seeing their mithyatvam. By seeing their mithyatvam, all the upadhis are happily resolved. And then the teaching has been given. Then what is that? Tvam padavachya was given, Tvam padalakshya was given, Tat padavachya was given, Tat padalakshya was given, and really speaking, the chapter should have ended at verse number 48. But it does not. Why? Why? Purva Paksha comes in. Yeah. One fellow has been waiting, listening quietly, and then asks a question. And 2 things before we get into the Purva Paksha, 2 things we have to know is that the Panchadashi Kara answers the Purva Paksha with another question. Okay? So when you get to the next question, don't think it's one more Purva Paksha. It is the answer. A rhetorical question is given, is deployed as a pedagogical device to resolve the first question that was asked. And here too is not an exception. You see this it's this Panchadashi Kara style. You see it all over the Panchadashi. Afterwards he will resolve in a normal manner, but the first level of answer will be in the form of a question. You see that time and again. Purva Pakshi will ask a question, and then what will be the answer? Another question. It's like, you go to some countries, especially in England. You go to England and then you ask somebody, how are you doing? And what will they say? How are you doing? And then you ask them again, how are you doing? Like this you go back and forth 3-4 times before any answer comes. Okay? It's just a style. That is the culture. That's the style. And then, then sometimes they'll say, you will say, nice day, is it not? Yes, indeed it is. Is it not? They will also ask a question. And then you say, yes, very nice day. Yes, indeed it is. Is it not? Like this. So it's a way of, it's a banter. It's a way of conversing. So here, so maybe, what's his name? The Panchadashi Kara, Swami Vidyaranya, maybe UK returned. We don't know. So, or maybe this is one of the ways of dealing with Purva Pakshis. We don't know. So, but anyhow, so the first question that is going to be asked, in which verse number we are talking about? 49 is the Purva Paksha, and then the 50th verse is the first level of Samadhana. First level of Samadhana means the initial what is that called? The initial dismissal of the Purva Paksha also through a question, and after that this Purva Paksha continues, the response to the Purva Paksha continues in 50, 51, 52, 50, 53. Up till 53 it goes. A very annoying Purva Pakshi. Why is this person annoying? Because likes to sit and split hairs, into 1,000 pieces. Not cut hair, that's easy. Split hair lengthwise. Okay? And so this is the Purva Pakshi. And then let us out him right in the beginning. Belongs to the school called Vaisheshika Mata. Who is this Vaisheshika? Vaisheshika is the cousin or cousin brother of Naiyayika. Who is Naiyayika? Don't say cousin of Vaisheshika. Okay, that I already used that. You have to use some other reference. Who is Naiyayika? Logician. Very good. Okay, yeah. Naiyayika is a logician. Vaisheshika is the cousin of this logician. Cousin means what? Closely allied. They are from the same family. Why are they from the same family? Because Vaisheshika also resorts to very annoying and unnecessary logic, and we'll see how. And then the other reason and then the other thing is, for both of them, they don't get into their heads the difference between mithya and satyam. For them, everything is satyam. Maya, check, satyam. Then what else? Jiva, satyam. Jagat, satyam. All the things in the world, satyam. Satyam, 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 satyam. So, but there is oneness. No, there is no oneness. What do you mean there is no oneness? Between pot and clay, is there not oneness? No. Pot is separate. What do you mean pot is separate from clay? That's why we don't allow people to study Vaisheshika Mata during the course. Yeah. Just a small introduction is given, because if we enter their spiral like a maze, amazing this maze is, and then when you enter the spiral, it's very difficult to come out. No, pot, trust me, they will say, pot and clay are different. Why? Because pot has its origins and clay has its origins. But don't you see that the origin of the pot is from clay? No. But there is a oneness. There is no oneness. There is a relationship, a special relationship of two objects connected by a sambandha, and they themselves will give a name for this sambandha. What is this name? Samavaya sambandha. Everything is a dravya. Dravya means material. Everything is real and everything is a material, and so pot is a material, clay is a material. Ayyo, they are the same material. No, that's immaterial. So now pot is a material, clay is a material, and they have a sukshma, a very subtle connection called samavaya sambandha. Everything, they go into hair-splitting details about the origin of everything, because everything has an origin. Why does everything have an origin? Because everything is satyam. In this particular mata, and the Naiyayika mata also, there is no concept of mithya. Mithya, very difficult, they don't understand. This is real, that is also real. Everything is real. Jagat is real, Jagat Karta is also real, and Jagat Karta means who? Ishvara. Ishvara also they try to establish logically. This Naiyayika Vaisheshika teams. How is it possible? Because Ishvara is revelation. It's revealed. The nature of Ishvara as non-separate from me is a subject matter revealed by the Shastra. But here what happens for them? They think that it is to be arrived at logically. So the scientists love these Vaisheshika, Nayayika, because it's all about hypothesis and proof and all these things. And science is okay, but you cannot bring it to replace Shastra Pramana. Those are two different Pramanas. Science is based on inference. Shastra Pramana itself is an independent Pramana. And so here, what do they say? They say they even arrive at Ishvara logically. Idam Jagat Sakartrikam. Sakartrikam means this Jagat is there. Did you make the Jagat? They will look at each other and say, no, I did not make the Jagat. So, Kartra Saha Vartate, Sakartrikam, that which is there along with the Karta. So, there must be a creator for this Jagat, because I don't know how to create the Jagat, neither do you. So, therefore, they logically say, there must be another creator. Idam Jagat Sakartrikam. Up till then, we can also go along with them. Yes, we haven't made this Jagat. Sakartrikam, okay. And then, what will they say? They will say, Idam Jagat Aneka Kartrikam. This Jagat has been made by many people. Why? Because look at the complexity. So look at the whole thing that is there. Look at that. There is sentient plus insentient, and then there are things that move and things that don't, and there are so many species and so many various types of things, and so many laws that govern. All these things are there. And can you make this whole Jagat? No. I also can't. But together, if all of us got together, we could make something. So therefore, this Jagat has been made by many, many, many gods. Aneka Kartrikam. Why? Anekatmakatvat. Because it is got many and varied things. Pras, and they will, for logic, you have to also give the logic here. Why are you saying this? And what is their logic? Prasadadivat, like constructing a palace. Can one person construct the palace? No. You need masons, many of them, because palace is huge. It's not a small kutia. It's a huge palace. So the palace means you need masons. First you need architect who makes the blueprint. Then you need masons. Then you need implements to dig and all these things. Then you need lots of materials, stone, wood, all this. Then what else do you need? You need all the people. You need carpenters. You need plumbers. You need all kinds of things, all kinds of people. People who do glass work, people who know how to make columns, people who know what all to do. And then all of them have to come together and do this for a length of time. Then, wow, here is this palace. This is how the palace is built, and the palace becomes the logical reference for the Jagat. The Jagat is infinitely more complicated than a palace. If the palace takes 1,000 people to build it, the Jagat must take many, 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 many Ishvaras. This is how it is. So you got a little taste of the Vaisheshika. So they are all into Dravya, Guna, Sambandha. Jati, Dravya, Guna, Sambandha. These are the fourfold pillars on which the Nayayika Vaisheshika philosophy stands. Jati, species. And they will even put Ishvara as a Jati, okay, because there are many Ishvaras. So like this. Jati, Dravya, material. And then Guna, attributes. Sambandha, these special connections. Samavaya Sambandha. Everything they make so complicated, including Abhava. What is Abhava? Non-existent. They talk of four, even one kind of non-existent is not worth talking about, because it is not there. What to talk about it if it doesn't exist? Somehow they have divided non-existence into four categories. What are the four categories? First is the last moment of the existence of the pot is called prior non-existent. Prak abhava prathama kshanaha. Prior non-existence. And then there is the prior non-existence. No, that is the origin of the pot. And the destruction of the pot is another non-existence called posterior non-existence. Pradvamsa abhava charamakshanaha. The last moment of the existence of the pot is the first moment of the non-existence of the pot. The first moment of the non-existence of the pot, the last moment of the non-existence of the pot is the first moment of the birth of the pot. Need an aspirin yet? Yeah. Because we have only covered two kinds of non-existences. The first one is what? The first moment before the pot was born, what was there? Non-pot. Non-existent pot was there. You see the contradiction here? Non-existent pot was there just before it was born. That is one kind of non-existence. And then that is called prior non-existence. And then there is posterior non-existence, which is the last, the last moment of the existence of the pot. Is the first moment of the non-existence, posterior non-existence of the pot. Ayyo. Then we have anyonya abhava. Anyonya abhava means mutual non-existence. If the tree dies, the creeper that is living off the tree also many times also dies. Anyonya abhava. And then finally, extreme or ultimate non-existence, atyanta abhava. Atyanta abhava means the impossibility of something existing. Like what? Like the horns of the rabbit. Horns of the rabbit. Atyanta abhava. So even abhava, they cannot leave alone. They have to divide it into four kinds of non-existence. So this is a short introduction to the Vaisheshika kind of thinking. Okay. So then the Vaisheshika brings out a very interesting issue here. What is the issue? So now you say you happily are trying to conclude this chapter. I am not going to let you conclude the chapter. I have gone to the court and taken a stay order. You cannot conclude before you answer this question. And you were very complacent. What did you say? Bhagatyaga lakshanaya Satchidanandam Satchidanandaha Vishishyate. You said that that's all that is left is Satchidananda. Lakshana you said. Now, on what are you applying Lakshana? What is it that is the place where you are applying the Lakshana? To understand what? Lakshana is applied to understand what? Brahman. So now, this Brahman to which you are applying Lakshana to understand properly, is it Savikalpa or Nirvikalpa? Ha ha ha. Caught you either way. That's what the Vaisheshika is rubbing the hands in glee. Is it Savikalpa or Nirvikalpa? You will say, you being Vedantins, what will you say? Nirvikalpa. Of course it is free of attributes. Nirvikalpa cannot be an object of Lakshana. Objection. Why? We'll see later. Nirvikalpa means what? Vikalpa means division. That which is free of divisions cannot be an object of Lakshana. Lakshana describes what? Lakshana describes using these attributes. Certain attributes called variable are retained, given up, and the invariable is retained. So here you say your Brahman is free of attributes. My dear fellow, not so fast. Because if it is free of attributes, It cannot be defined. How can you define? Lakshana means definition. If it's free of attributes, can you define it? Say no, so we can move on. Okay? You can't define it. Then what will we say? Okay. It is savikalpa because there are divisions. They are as though divisions. You are about to use the word as though. But then these Vaisheshikas are very quick-witted and quick-thinking. And so quickly they object. If it is savikalpa, if your Brahman is with divisions, with attributes, then anything that has attributes is what? Mithya. Anything that has attributes is mithya. Anything that has parts, mithya. So therefore, you are not defining Brahman at all through Lakshana. What are you defining? Mithya. You are not defining Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. You are defining Asatyam, Ajnanam, Ananantam through Lakshana. Got you. What are you going to do? We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri